Hello, my name is Stefon Johns, and this is my ETL design briefing for Oregon Health and Science University. We begin by defining an ETL system as a process of extraction, transformation, and loading of business data. According to Kimball and Ross, the easiest way to understand this is by following the three letters. The data is retrieved from the source location, E, something is done to it, T, and then it is loaded, L, into a final table set for business users to query. We will be laying out each of these steps throughout this presentation. Before we begin any ETL process, it is imperative to find the right ETL tool that will provide the most robust experience, high performance under high load, and ease of use for any business user. It is my suggestion that OHSU utilize the services of IBM DataStage. According to Rotowig, an enterprise ETL tool will most certainly cost a lot more, and it will require a little bit more training. However, it provides the most robust experience you can have. In wanting to utilize a service at an enterprise level, this would be the type of tool we would need. As IBM DataStage is an enterprise ETL software, there is an on-premises requirement for the tier of service that I'm recommending. As such, the Enterprise Plus edition of IBM DataStage offers the experience necessary for a healthcare setting while considering all the features that would be beneficial to any other division at OHSU. To ensure data quality and how the data will be cleaned in the transformation process, it is necessary to gather business requirements. According to JAMA Software, there are 6 steps to effectively gather the right business requirements. This includes identifying relevant stakeholders, establishing goals and objectives of your project, eliciting requirements from all of the stakeholders identified, documenting those requirements, confirming those requirements, and then prioritizing them. These steps are iterated over, so at any point you could go back to another step and it would be that step, iterate again, next step, iterate again, and it could change the order of how things are done. This is just the suggested initial order. Once the requirements are gathered, we can see that it becomes possible to build our dimensional models for each process that is required for clinical events. This demonstration is going to use patient encounters. We have our fact table and each of our fact dimensions, and then we have a star schema showing exactly how our data is going to be set up. With this established, it is necessary to discuss databases and data storage. Currently, a few of the departments in the healthcare division of OHSU utilize Microsoft SQL Server for RDBMSs. However, their data is stored on their respective hard disks or in Excel files. As there is so much use of Microsoft software throughout the organization, it would actually be beneficial to use Microsoft SQL Server as the database and Microsoft OneDrive Business for cloud storage and data storage. This would allow the right users access to the right data, which would then help with data integrity and governance. And one important note that's extremely important for OHSU, at least for the healthcare department, is that OneDrive is HIPAA compliant, so it would benefit everyone in the organization when saving things and making sure that everything stays compliant with the government in Oregon, at least. Now, when it comes to the database administration, it is my suggestion that you continue to use the database administrators and the DBAs that you currently have, as that is the best step when going through an EDM goal. Since they already have access, since they already know the data, since they already know everything that needs to be done, and they are administrators and DBAs in their own right, it would be beneficial to just keep them in that position and allow them to be database administrators and manage that. With all of these individuals selected, they would be able to actually leverage data modeling, which would then allow them to create a foundation for efficient and effective data governance. One of the products that I would recommend for this for data modeling is ER Studio. It is from Idera, and it allows Several different things because it allows an understanding of the current state of any data environment. So for the healthcare department, that would be beneficial in allowing users to see exactly what they could be doing. For instance, for patient satisfaction, it could show them exactly where their data lies, what types of data they have, how their data is recorded, what data they're actually collecting, and it allows end-to-end tracking of lineage. So that would actually benefit the entire organization should this be implemented. Then from there we go into data profiling, and of course my suggestion, as you can see on the screen here, is SQL Data Profiler. It is a plugin for SQL Server, Microsoft SQL Server, from Idera as well. It is really easy to use, easy to plug in, and since a lot of the tools are from Microsoft that are used by OHSU currently, it would actually be easier to use something that utilizes the database. So with that, we go into our third step, which is loading. This is where we move into the staging the data for business users, and it would actually need to involve data virtualization when staging the data. Some end users don't need all of the technical information of the data, and it would actually be best to use virtualization to gather data from all the sources used. While loading the data, it is probably best to keep in mind the use of the type of load that you're going to do. Um, for instance, I would suggest using an initial load of all of the master data that is necessary to keep business processes going. And then from there, the database administrator would use incremental loads to load any changing information or new data periodically. Um, that's probably the best method that would work for the constantly changing environment, especially with how things have gone recently with changing of data centers for the COVID-19 patients and everything. So yeah, that would be my suggestion. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this presentation and you found something useful.